What's up, everybody? Let me ask you a question. Has this ever happened to you? Has your command grab just mysteriously whiffed through your opponent for no apparent reason? Even maybe like this, even on the ground? What's up with this? What's going on? If you play a grappler in this game, I got some important info for you. Why does this happen? In KOFXV, like most fighting games, 2D fighting games, it has a thing called proximity guard, which means if the opponent is in a certain distance from you and you do a move that can be blocked, they will go into a guarding animation even though you don't make physical contact with them. So this recording, Ralph is just holding down back. And if I jab, you notice he is going into a proximity block animation. And there's a certain distance in which this turns on. And it's about right here. And there's an input buffer in this game for certain things to make commands easier, like most fighting games. This example is probably the most common when you jump and land and then do a command grab and it whiffs through. I mean, if you notice already, you saw what Ralph did. When Ralph is blocking here and I buffer my command grab early before I hit the ground, he goes into a blocking animation. And you notice, I'll do it real early, my jump D is coming out. So I'm doing the motion for the command grab is half circle forward D. And I'm just doing it early in the air and holding the button to make sure that it comes out as soon as I touch the ground. Unfortunately, if your opponent's holding down back, they get that proximity guard effect from you actually doing the jump D. So even if you do it a little bit early, even if you do it like 1 frame before you touch the ground, your jump D starts to come out. And so your opponent goes into that proximity guard animation. So this first instance of it, which is the most common, when you're doing empty hop command grab, just make sure that your timing is as accurate as possible, that you're not doing it too early. Just wait, and you gotta wait. Just try to time it when your feet touch the ground. It's not too hard. Usually you won't get thrown out of it. Technically, if you're a little bit sloppy or a little bit late after you touch the ground, your opponent could, throw you out of it if you're inside throw range and so on and so forth. But it's obviously much better than your throw just whiffing into nothing. And actually, let me can show you in detail what's happening here if you want to nerd out with me for a second. So right now, the game thinks I am doing a jump D. So at this point in time, I've done jump D. Ralph is already, he hasn't even started animating yet, but he's going to go into a proximity block animation. So scooch forward here, right? My command grab is starting to come out. Ralph already is starting to block. Boom, right? Right, so at this point in time, your fate's already sealed. You're doing the jump D right now. This is the first frame of Clark's jump D. So that's why this happens. Now the second scenario in this can happen, which is much less common, is if you do the motion and you press the attack button to complete the motion a frame before you hit the direction. Now last year in the May patch, there was a change to the command input interpreter where you can press the attack button on the frame before you complete a special move input and it'll still come out, just to add a little bit more leniency. So if I can get this to work, do this 1 second, because it's kind of actually hard to get to happen. It's more likely to happen in like a frantic match where your inputs might be sloppy. Okay, there we go. So if you look over here, here's the command grab motion that I just did. So back, down, forward, and then I hit D. I hit D when I hit down forward, and then I hit forward, and the command grab still came out. The problem is when I did this input right here, this down forward and D, I'm doing Clark's sweep. I'm doing down forward D. Like I'm holding down. So if I had to hold down forward and I hit D, this is Clark's sweep. So if you look at an example here, if you look on the left, so there I'm starting the input. So back, down, down forward, and then I'm hitting D. So right here, as far as the game concerns, I'm doing a sweep. So right here, Ralph is going to go into proximity block. There's nothing you can stop at this point. Next frame, I hit forward, and then immediately Clark starts doing the command grab. But Ralph is going to do that proximity block because the sweep happened. And that's why this happens. Solution, just don't mess up. That's all. That's really all it is. This is actually hard to get to happen with most motions, like half circle forwards and half circle backs. I had to try several times to do this, but if you play a grappler and this happens to you and you're positive your opponent wasn't like in a throw invulnerable state and you were in range and the throw came out and you're just like, what the heck is happening? This is why. So just make sure, especially when you're doing empty jump command grab, just be careful to do it right when you touch the ground and not any earlier, to make sure your throws can't be defeated by holding down back.